stuff.
Hey everybody!
Happy Twin Tuesday!
Happy Twin Tuesday! Whoop whoop! Whoop! Dr. Johanna.
Dr. Madeline.
And we're the awesome chiropractors at Atlas Chiropractic Center, which is located in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yeah, we're family wellness. Our jam is pregnant and postpartum mamas, though.
And their families.
And their families. Dakota's here today, so as you're hopping on, say hey, drop some emojis down. Dakota loves when you say hey and send him some love through emojis.
He does. And we don't even look like twins today because I have my glasses on.
It's okay. We'll let it slide. But if you are catching the replay later, comment replay down below because we want to make sure we don't want to miss you. We love all of y'all and appreciate all of y'all who help support us and tune in to learn some stuff as well. See, Dakota's super excited you're here.
He is. And we are talking about one of his new favorite things today.
Food.
Yay!
So how many times we hear this from patients quite often. Our mom was here this weekend. We kind of had a conversation with her about it, but that like what you put in your mouth, like nutrition wise, doesn't really matter. How many times have you been to the doctor and maybe they've told you that? Like it doesn't really matter. Nutrition's not really a real thing, just essentially calories in, calories out for a weight loss. Which I will say, like calories in, calories out, there's some math or equations there that happen for weight loss, but we're gonna challenge you to think a little bit different way today.
Just think outside the box today because I will challenge you to think like if you were going to consume, let's say 500 calories and you got option A was 500 calories from a nutritious Snickers bar and option B was 500 calories from fruits and vegetables. Do you think that they are equal as far as your body, how it's processed, and the nutrients that actually can be derived from that? I hope you say no, and if not, I challenge you to think about that.
So we'll give a quick rundown of, I'm going to keep it simplistic on what happens when you eat food. So you put food in your mouth and you chew it, and you're going to start to put some enzymes. Your body produces enzymes to start breaking that food down. Of course, you're going to swallow the food. It's going to go down. Your stomach's going to break it down more, and it's going to go through your digestive tract until it comes out the other end, essentially, right? Because you can't keep everything in there. Part of that elimination process is pulling toxins and detoxing out of our body. So when we get our energy from food, so when we eat that is an energy, like a unit that we are getting from food so we can sustain ourselves. Yeah. But part of that, I don't know if you know this or not, I think the human body is like super fascinating. So whether you're like sleeping or you're standing here or whatever, there are processes that are happening that you don't even have to think about. It's pretty cool. It wants to keep you alive, but when it's breaking down that food, those are essentially its building blocks to rebuild you. We rebuild cells every so often, depending if it's your skin cell, a lung cell, a liver cell, or something like that. But your body regenerates all the time. So what we put in and what it's broken down to is going to matter, right?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like we should I wish we could go back to the magic school bus. Let's go on an adventure through the body. And I remember that being my favorite one when I was little. So yeah, absolutely. The foods that break down make our new cells and they re-energize us and all of that stuff. And that's why we do talk about getting protein, fats, carbs, and different things because that stuff does come from the foods that we eat, and a lot of that stuff can either come from stuff that we grow or stuff that we pick up in the grocery store and that kind of stuff. And not all calorie is an equal calorie.
It's not. If you're eating something that is made in a factory that is super processed, like you gave the example of a Snickers bar earlier, there's nothing real about that. It's made in a factory. It's made with high fructose corn syrup. It's essentially just sugar. That's not going to, your body's going to break it down. Essentially, it's going to get its calories from an energy unit from it, but it's not going to have the same response in your body if you were to eat something that was more of a whole foods product and that type of thing. And I think that's important too, because as you eat certain things, if you're eating a lot of sugar all the time, that's where we look at type of things like type 2 diabetes. Our pancreas doesn't work with insulin as well anymore. So we know this has an influence on our body.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example because I think now more commonly than before, some doctors are talking to their patients about if they are pre-diabetic, starting to change what they put into their bodies because that can be changed through nutrition.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome because then that person doesn't have to live on a medication for the rest of their life when they can just simply change what they eat. And we have taste buds, right? So like your taste buds are like trained. They're trained to like what you usually eat. That's why sometimes when you are someone that was eating, let's say like a lot of sugar, so like sodas, fun food, when you eat a vegetable, it may not taste super awesome at first, but you gotta retrain them. You gotta like put them through the gym, like the work
It takes time, and your taste buds will change as you shift your diet and nutrition as well. I think something interesting too is we also like, you know, there's like the debate between organic and non-organic and stuff like that, but it does make a difference. I was reading a study the other day that I think like if you switch to all organic produce, within like 2 weeks, those toxins that are in the conventional produce are out of your body.
There is a great documentary on Netflix about that. I'm not 100% sure the name of it, so I'd have to look it back up. But it takes a family and it takes them from eating like processed food, so things you would buy in the grocery store that's not on like the outside of the grocery store. And it takes them from that eating organic produce, and they test like different toxins in their, like the pesticides in their blood and how it changes. And I thought that was like pretty cool because it happens pretty quickly.
Right.
So that's neat, and that's healthier cells, that's healthier tissue. But like, why would we talk about this kind of stuff?
We talk about this because other doctors tell you it doesn't matter. And one of the things we see is you just have to consider too, in I would say your mainstream like medical, like more of an MD's schooling, they haven't really been given too much nutrition, and there's only a certain amount of time to be really good at so many things. So it just might not be in their wheelhouse when they say that. They're not really sure how to answer your questions. So we talk about that because it does matter. And when it comes to like your healing process, and if you want quality of life, if you want longevity of life, and you don't want to have to be waiting for cancer to happen or for diabetes to happen or for other just things like just throwing out some names out there, that you have a choice. You can influence these results. You can influence what's going in your body and how you're feeling and how your body is either building health or maybe waiting for a disease to happen to you. So we want to kind of shift the script on that a little bit because it does matter. It matters if you wake up and you drink like no water all day, you're just drinking soda and you are eating McDonald's all day long, versus if you wake up and you're drinking plenty of water and you're eating grass-fed meats, and if you're eating if you can organic fruits and vegetables, but still conventional would be better than not eating them. So like you have different options, and you have to find out like where you can pick within your world and what makes sense. A lot of times we talk about if you have to choose between organic, go grass-fed, wild-caught like meat and fish first, because that's rebuilding the proteins in your body. And then like the other things, you can maybe use a little bit more conventional, unless you can go organic all the way across.
So what are some like super easy things, because I know you just mentioned the grass-fed and organic. Some other things I would say are like really simple to start with is, instead of like beating yourself up about what you are consuming, is just make baby steps right now by adding healthy things in. So one thing I find like with a lot of people, no matter if it's in our office or outside of our office, is they don't drink enough water. So instead of like removing all the other things you're drinking, just add more water.
Yeah.
How much water?
You should drink at least half your body weight in ounces a day is a general recommendation. And of course, that's not taken into consideration if you're drinking less coffee, which will dehydrate you, like things like that, or if you're not working out and stuff like that. So just a general recommendation, a good place to start is half of your body weight in ounces a day.
Yep. So water, and if you don't like how water tastes, retrain those taste buds, but also you can add in like some fruit into it. I would stay away from like I don't even know if people do these anymore, but there was like droplets you could add. And anyway, that stuff, like just look at the ingredients. A lot of times it has high fructose corn syrup in there, which is just like sugar. Really bad.
Or fake sugar, or like a fake sugar, which is not a better alternative. It's not.
Yeah. So more water, and I would say start adding a fruit or a vegetable to every meal that you have. And the other caveat to that is what? Do you know what I'm gonna say? If it's on your plate, you should eat it first.
Oh, you should eat your vegetables. Johanna's rule at her house is, so if you come eat here, you have to eat your vegetables first. Sorry, Dakota.
Because then you're getting those calories in first, and if you tend to overeat, hopefully it'll fill up some before you overindulge in like, I don't know, like whatever else is on there, like pasta or something like that. So those are like two simple things you can add in. And of course, like, we can talk more about specifics to that and all of that stuff. But that's like on an individual level.
We just want to come on and give you a quick rundown of food is broken down in your body to rebuild your cells and yourself. So it does matter. What you're putting in there does matter. So to let you know that you do have control over that. And
You are what you eat, if you haven't heard that before. So a good thing is, like, if you have a really nice sports car and it's super fancy, you're not going to put crappy gas in it. So why do we treat our cars better than we treat our bodies?
I know. So you do have choices. It will help with how healthy you are and how your body and environment can interact with other things that are coming in. So we just want to give that to you today. Some simple tips of drink some water, add in a fruit and vegetable on a meal. Not telling you to take anything away, just add in some other things. And we're interested to see how it goes for y'all. If you have any questions, please reach out to us and let us know. We love to answer your questions. And sometimes we do refer out to other people who have a little bit more like one-on-one time to really hone in and work on this with you. So if that's something you're interested in, we have lots of resources in the community, even locally and distantly if you are watching us and you are not local. So just let us know.
Absolutely. It's been a great Twin Tuesday.
Dakota says hey and bye.
Hi and bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
We'll see you next
Later,
week.
guys.